Hey everyone, I hope y'all are doing really well. We are going to get into the next episode of Madison Talks Way Too Much About Rabbits. And in today's episode, I'm going to show you everything you need to get started with a rabbit hutch, and this could also include if you want rabbits as pets, but do know that if you are a bit squeamish and you don't like talking about butchering out rabbits and having rabbits to raise for meat, this may not be the video for you because I'm focusing mainly here on meat rabbits. So let's get into it. So here on the homestead, we do have two different kinds of rabbits. Right here is my most recent litter of mini Rex. And although we don't necessarily raise these guys up for meat alone, they are used as a byproduct for meat. We also use their furs as well. So the other day, I picked up 3 new rabbits of the Rex variety, and they are specifically used for meat. So when setting up your hutch, you do want to decide and make a couple of decisions. You need to sit down and come up with your goals. What are your goals in raising rabbits? There's a reason why I picked up a different breed than my mini Rex, and that is because I have 2 goals. One goal is to raise mini Rex to a standard of their breed, and that they create champs and grand champs, and that they go on to be successful in the show ring. I also sell them as pets if they don't meet standard, but when I sell them as pets, they don't get a pedigree and they might be a little cheaper. With that being said, if I have a mini Rex that necessarily doesn't meet breed standard, isn't pet quality, the byproduct of that is it does go into the freezer for meat and for the use of their fur, because we do have multi-use rabbits. But they aren't as big as I want them to be when it comes to meat production. They also don't get as big as fast. So I got myself some Rex rabbits, and I'm quickly going to go pull out one of my Rex rabbits. I'm going to go pull out one of my mini Rex rabbits. They are both about 2-3 months old, born around the same time, but I'm going to show you a size difference. Right here I have 2, and I have Solstice. These guys were born about the same time, about a week apart, and you can look at the size difference in them. They're both about 2 months old, and poor Blue is being harassed by Solstice. But look at the size difference in these bunnies. Don't get me wrong, Solstice is adorable, but if I were to butcher them out right now, the better meat quantity that I would get would be from number 2. So that is why I decided to pull in some regular size Rex compared to my mini Rex, although they are both adorable. Another thing to consider other than grow out is complete size and temperament. When you're creating your goals for what you want, if you're not just having a pet, you need to think about these things before you even start getting your setup, because your setup is going to dictate what you raise. So once you get your goals set in place, you need to now do your research, right? You need to decide what breed you're going to get and just everything you can about bunnies. And you can't learn everything that there is to know about bunnies. Trust me, I learn something new every week when it comes to bunnies. Right now I'm really big into colored genetics just for funsies. But figure out which breed you want. And once you figure out which breed you want for what you're gonna work with best, then you can decide what you need next when it comes to supplies. So if we're going with my scenario of, okay, I want meat rabbits, right? What meat rabbits are gonna be best? Do I want Californians? Do I want New Zealands? Do I want Cream de Argent, Silver Martin, or Rex? Do I want, what was that other one? Silver Foxes, right? Meat style rabbits, which one is going to fit best for my lifestyle? What are going to have the best byproducts that I can get? I love rabbit fur, right? So one of the best rabbit furs that you can get is Rex fur. So figure out what you need to get, and now let's talk about the fun thing. Let's talk about your setup and what you need to get before you get your rabbits. So let's go. So the first thing I want to talk about is your setup, your cages. And a couple of questions you have to ask yourself. Are you just going to have a pet bunny, Are you going to do single pen raising, or are you going to do a colony style? I do kind of an in-between style of colony raising and then singularity raising. So I'm going to show you what kind of setup I have and what I do with my cages, because I have 4 different kinds of cages here on the farm, and I'm about to tell you why. So the first cage style I have is this Hutch style. It can be a single cage or it can be 2 different cages. This is my least favorite kind of cage. It's extremely hard to clean, but I do really like it when my rabbits are having babies because it's safe, it's secure, and it allows mom a bunch of hidey holes away from the babies and some areas where she can really burrow down deep so she feels safe and relaxed. This would also be good if you just want 1 or 2 rabbits as pets. Then I have my metal cages. I like these cages for my grow outs and where I put mommies and babies when they are large enough to get out of their nesting box, but yet not on their own. These are my favorite kind of cages, but there are some downfalls. These are expensive and they do take a while to build, and once they are built, they are very hard to unbuild. They are kept together by these little J-hooks, and these are clamped metal. So if I want to undo these, I'm going to need pliers and I'm going to need new J-hooks to put them back together. So these are my favorite, but there is a downfall. Next I have my homemade cages, which I only use during heavy breeding season, where I am going to put the rabbits that either I am selling or culling out because they don't fit into my breeding program. This is great if you are crafty and you have the time to make cages. With that being said, it can be annoying from a standpoint of, once again, you can't really take it apart and it takes 2 people to move. But it is really great when you need extra space for mommies and babies. This is also one of the cheaper options I have when it comes to the size of cages and the amount of cages versus cost. This whole thing to build costs me as much as 4 of the cages I have currently, and technically I can put 8 cages in this setup. And then finally I have these cages. These are much like the other metal cages I have, only they're not quite as sturdy, but they are a lot easier to put up, and they're easily taken down, so they're great for travel, if you're going to any bunny shows or anything. And like I said, they're pretty great. I don't like the latch system on these because of how easy they are to open by either my dogs or the rabbits or my child. So I prefer the other locking mechanisms better on the metal cages. But if you don't have to worry about children, they work just fine, or if you need to, you can get a kennel clip and you can clip it shut so it doesn't open. But these are cheaper than the metal cages, and to be honest, if you don't have the money to spend on the metal ones I have, these ones are a good alternative. Another thing to think about if you're going to get rabbits is litter boxes. As you can see, Coco is using his for a bed, which is really gross. But he does go in it too. I just cleaned it out, so that might be why he's laying in it. He's a bit of an oddball, but we love him anyway. But do you want to litter train your rabbits, or do you just want to put catch pans, which I'm about to put my pans back in, for your rabbits? Or do you want to do both? For my bucks, I do both because my bucks are fickle. But what works for you? If you're breeding, you're going to want a nesting box. Nesting boxes can be made out of wood, they can be made out of metal grating, they can be made out of cardboard boxes. If you want, I can do an entire video on nesting boxes and what I prefer. And this one's a little cruddy right now because I've been using it to tote the babies in and out when I've been bottle feeding them. But wooden ones are fine. I prefer wooden ones with metal grating on the bottom because they're easier to keep clean for the babies and they don't get that hot in the summer. So if you want a whole video on nesting boxes, I can definitely do that. Another thing you're going to want are simple nail clippers. Rabbits require that you trim their nails about once a month in my experience. I normally clip nails about once a month. My one buck needs his done about every 2 weeks because he is a special boy, but it's very important you keep rabbits' nails trimmed up. Other things you're going to want to need are things like a scale and a way to keep records. You want to weigh your rabbits out because it's the best way to make sure that they're staying within a healthy limit. For instance, I have Peppers and Cocoa, who are technically out of breed standards by about an ounce or two, nothing too major. Easily taken care of by cutting their feet a little bit or not giving them quite as much hay. Simple. If I don't measure them out and all of a sudden they're 5 pounds, for instance, they're 6 pounds, it's going to be harder to get them down. For instance, my babies. As you can see, I have a whole lot of information for my babies. I need to make sure that they're growing and that they don't need supplementation. Record keeping is important. Keeping is something I push. I don't care if you do it on paper. I don't care if you do it on calendars. I don't care if you're like me, anal retentive, and you do it in an entire Excel sheet with pretty colors. That's how I keep track of everything, is my glorious Excel sheet. I could go over that Excel sheet for hours. But no one wants to see that. That is the most boring video that I could probably talk about, is my records. I'll show you all my records, but no one will actually want to see it. But for your records, right? What I suggest everyone do when they're breeding is have pedigrees, right? Well, Madison pedigrees cost more. Yes, I know, pedigrees cost more. But if you have pedigrees, you can keep track of so much stuff. And then also, if you go to sell your rabbits on the back end to somebody else who is breeding, they can see what they are getting in their lines. You know, they can kind of get an idea of, okay, this line runs a little fat, this line runs a little thin. Oh, this line can throw back some lilacs or some blacks or some chocolates. Oh, we had a Charlie in the back end, you know. Oh, there's Vienna marking. And, you know, keep your records. Records are also important when you're looking at breeding your rabbits. When was your doe last bred? When do you need to start weaning your babies off? You know, when is, you know, Coco due for a nail trim? That's my least favorite time of the month, is trimming Coco's nails, because he does not like to hold still. But all of these things need to be kept track of, and you need a way to keep track of them. And again, it can be on paper or it can be in a computer. I grabbed one of my babies because I figured that'd make you listen to me more, because she's just so cute. This is Sammy, and Sammy's just a good girl. She looks exactly like her sister Sadie, only Sammy has longer ears. Yes, I know all of my rabbits by name. I'm not sorry. My horse is peeing in the background. All right, so next thing I want to talk about, marking your rabbits, right? Especially if you're going to show rabbits. You need to have tattoos in their ears. There is an amazing, and I'm going to link it down in the description below, amazing place. They have tattoo guns for your rabbits. Go visit the Teal Stone Homestead. She raises cream d'argents and silver foxes. She has a discount code. I can't remember what it is, but she has a discount code. She's the only one that I know of that has a discount code for the tattoo guns. And also, if you're there, you know, watch a couple videos. Her wealth of knowledge on rabbits is just, she is amazing. I love watching her. She is so sweet. Go check her out. She is awesome. Anyway, get your tattoo guns for your rabbits so that you have ways of marking them. These little guys are going to get their tattoos soon. I'm going to wait till they're a little bigger because they have kind of small ears yet. When it comes to tattooing, I normally will do it around 12 weeks-ish. Why 12 weeks? Because at 12 weeks, one of two things happens. I either tattoo or I cull out. And that's because 12 weeks is about a good size, good timeline to either sell your rabbits, get rid of them, or tattoo them because their ears are large enough. So, you know, tattooing, that's when I prefer to do it. Do your research, see what you like, and it's a great way, especially if you're like me and you have a lot of casters. I currently have 3 solid casters. I can tell them all apart, but, you know, if I get more than 3, I might make a mistake someday. I currently have 2, 4, 5 broken casters. They're all very easy to tell apart because I notice weird things like they have mustaches, or they don't have mustaches, or they have half mustaches, or blue is a weird dark caster compared to my lighter casters in my line. So you get to know your rabbits. You should still tattoo them or make cage cards is another option. You can make like little note cards and you can put them on your cages so you can keep track of who your rabbits are. Really neat trick with cage cards, if you take a note card, cover it in clear tape, right? And then you can take a permanent marker on the clear tape and write out all the information so it doesn't smudge off. Madison, why would you use permanent marker on that? Da, 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 da. Hear me out. Take a little bit of alcohol spray, wipe it off, new card. You don't need to replace your cards. You can make a few, put them all over your cages, good to go. But that's another option to have to tattooing if you're not comfortable with that, if you're not showing, or if you just have a backyard operation where you're just raising rabbits for meat. That's perfectly fine too. So just make sure you're telling your rabbits apart, whether it be tattooing or cage card. Finally, I'm gonna go get another rabbit. Just a second, then I'll tell you what finally is. Just a second, I'm gonna replace Sammy with someone, so give me a moment. All right, I'm back. Say hi to Lyle. Lyle is a lilac mini Rex. He is the runt of my litter. And Lyle terrified me when I was bottle feeding because all of his other siblings were gaining like 50 grams, 25 grams, and here's Lyle. I gained 2 grams. I gained 1 gram. Oh, I'm gonna drop 6 grams. Oh, I'm gonna jump up 5 grams. So Lyle was the bane of my existence when I was bottle feeding, but he's just so sweet. He gets my special attention because she was a baby. Finally, you want to look into, where are you going to get these rabbits? Start talking to people, start looking around. When I first started in rabbits, 4-H was a big thing. I could find a lot of rabbits through 4-H. 4-H is a little skittery right now because of COVID and because of the rabbit virus going around. But where I found all of my rabbits actually is Craigslist. And I hear it now. There's going to be some moaning, some groaning, and some stuff, but try it out, talk to people. There are some really great breeders who use Craigslist. The lady I got my blue-eyed Oide off of, super sweet. Her children were amazing, and they cared so much about their bunnies, so very much. Great people. The lady I got my Rex off of, super sweet, down to earth. I absolutely adored her setup. She colony raises rabbits, but she raises them off the ground, and she uses old dog kennels. Great people I met. I met a couple of other breeders, never ended up buying from them because I didn't like their stock, but I still talk to them because the bunny community is pretty close and we all talk to each other. So use something like Craigslist. Hi, Lyle. Use something like Craigslist and see what you can find and what you can do. So it's a good resource. Other resources you can use is Google. It sounds so funny, but go on to Google and search rabbits for sale, or mini Rex rabbits for sale, or lop rabbits for sale, or chinchilla rabbits for sale, right? Search those things and you will find Hutches, websites on Hutches. They are a little hit and miss because a lot of people have closed their Hutches down and aren't selling rabbits anymore, but it's a good place to start, it's a good place to try, and if you reach out and they say that they don't sell rabbits anymore, ask them, do they know of a breeder who currently does? Most rabbit people, I'm not going to say all because, not all people are good people, but most rabbit people are willing to help where they can. So do what you can do, talk to the people you can talk to, and just build that community, because if you're going to raise rabbits, welcome to the rabbit community. We're here to help, or at least try to help. Sometimes we aren't the best, so we'll do what we can, right? Alright, so if you made it this far into the video, I have a special surprise for you because, this is one of the rabbits that got me thinking of making a meat series because, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alpha. Alpha is my junior Rex rabbit, and he is going to be the main buck of my breeding program. He is a gorgeous broken chinchilla buddy, and he is so sweet. His temperament is lovely. I'm still desensitizing him to myself because he is new to my hutch, but I have this gorgeous boy to start a Rex meat rabbit line, and I am super excited. His fur is so soft too. So I just wanted to say thank you for getting this far into the video. I really hope it helped. If you have any questions, you know, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to answer them. This was part 1 of my new series within a series of raising meat rabbits. Next time that I go into this series, I'm going to show you how to choose your rabbits for, you know, body typing and everything. You know, we're going to get a little more strict into our content, and we're going to bring it into meat rabbits, right? So this was like a general overview of a rabbit hutch. Now we're really going to get into meat rabbits and talking about how I choose these guys. So again, thank you so much for watching this far into the video. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.